Well, back out here in the woods again, making bush tea and maybe another story. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna use the big camera today, test it out. So this is our intro, I guess. We got some wood collected here, and we're gonna get some wigwas and use the sparker. I picked up the sparker off of Amazon. So we'll give it a try. We'll use the sparker instead of a lighter. All right. Well, getting things ready here. Brought my lunch with me. I have a bush tea and a wiener roast out here. How things go. Some birch bark. Some sticks. You know how it goes. Make a fire. Get everything ready. I collected this birch bark when I was in the bush, and figured they come in handy, obviously. Working hard to make a fire with a flint stick, that's not exactly my... There we go. Don't always trust Amazon's that birch bark there. Sticks. Fire going. Have some bush tea. Bush tea coming up. Oh, we made a fire with that flint stick. Have to work on it. Not the greatest. I don't know about this. Anyway, got a fire going. Ugh. Pull out the bush knife, hunting knife. tea bags today are Tetley. Thanks to local high school, Geese went on for their water bottle I was gifted. I was sharing some knowledge with them in my life. Yeah. Fire go. I almost lit that fire bigger. Oh, I hear company. I hear company. I don't know who that could be. Maybe a squirrel. Bush tea and a story. So, this is one of my things I like doing. I like getting out in the bush. Yesterday, went out and cut some firewood for some people that wanted firewood for their camp or ceremony, whichever they needed it for. Figured why not, eh? So it won't take long for that to boil, and then share a story with you. So well, bush tea is made. I had myself a nice hot dog, and wanted to say welcome to another video. And I'm out here in the great outdoors, out on the land again, and wanted to share share another story with you while I have my bush tea. You know, in our way of life, winter, be born, is the time of rest, when everything is taking time to rest, and you know, all the animals, you know, they're gone and they're resting right now. The bear himself, the mucko, he's gone into his den, and that's who is our teacher. And he told us to go take a rest during this time. And of course, everything is covered by this white blanket of snow here on Mother Earth, and all the plants and everything are resting as well. All the medicines, you know, that we're growing all summer, they're resting as well. So it's a teaching for us as well, as a people, to take this time to rest. The daylight hours are shorter, and December 22nd, I believe, is the winter solstice, of which the sunlight will get, our days will be getting longer. So it also said during this time is the time where we all gather in our homes as families. And one of the traditions that we have is storytelling, as my brother commented on the last video. It's a time for us to rest. It's a time for us to, you know, be together as a family, even more so than the rest of the year. So one of the things that we used to do, or continue to do, during the winter time is storytelling. And the stories that I share with you, I've learned from other individuals who are willing to share their stories And so these stories are not mine, but I made them a part of my life when I hear them, when I share them, because they are for us to enjoy. And usually stories come with teachings. You know, they come with teachings, and that's how we used to teach each other, have teachings with our young ones, is to share these stories. And it was up to them to think of that story and what the teaching would be in the story. So I have a story for you again today. A requested story of Nanabijou and the geese. So as we know, Nanabijou, we consider him to be half man, half spirit. And there's other ways of looking at Nanabijou as well, you know, in different territories. But for me, I was told he is half man and half spirit. And he used to do crazy things. He's like a trickster. And he would, because he's here on Mother Earth all by himself, so he had to go looking for trouble, I guess, or looking for things to get into mischief. He wasn't really a bad person. He wouldn't do bad things, per se. He would just in his nature, I guess. And maybe you know some people like that who get into trouble without actually doing it on purpose. Anyway, this is Nanabijou's nature. So somebody requested a story. One of my good buddies requested that story about Nanabijou and the geese. So as we know, Nanabijou, he's always hungry, he's always eating. He's always looking for something to do. One day he was walking out in the springtime, and he was very hungry. Stomach was growling, you know. He had been feeding on rabbits all winter. He let Partridge go because Partridge taught him something. So you're gonna have to go listen to that story about the previous video. So anyway, Nanabijou was all filled up on rabbits. He's tired of eating rabbits, eh? And he says, "Oh, I wish there was something else I could eat. I'm so hungry. I'm tired of eating rabbits." So anyway, as he was walking through the forest, he heard "Arrgh, arrgh, arrgh." And then he looked up. He's wondering what was. That's Nika, he says, Nika. And then he heard more. You know, he heard more and more of them coming. There was a flock of geese overhead. And so he said, "Oh my goodness, you know, oh, I'm tired of eating rabbit. I'm going to have a goose tonight," he said. And then he started thinking, "Oh, the geese, they don't come here too often," he said. "Maybe I'll grab one or two or maybe more." And then he snuck up. He heard where they're going to land. He went there and he snuck through the forest. And he was very, very cautious for them to see him. Because as we know, geese have very sharp eyes. And so he snuck up and he saw a flock of geese. There was plenty of them there. And so Nanabijou, he started thinking to himself, you know, I know I can catch one for sure, he said. But I don't want my stomach to go hungry for a while, so I think I might find a way to grab more than one. So he started thinking. And then he took all the fringes off his jacket and he tied them together. He says, "I got an idea," he said. So he started tying the fringes of his jacket together and he made a long rope, real long. He says, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go dive in the water and I'm going to swim under the water and I'm going to tie all their feet together," he said, while they're resting. So that's what he did. He dove in the water very quietly, went under the water, and as he looked up, he could see their feet there. So he's holding his breath and he went up to the first one, he tied his legs and he waited. No, they didn't notice. So he went on to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, until he came to the end of the flock. But now he's his breath, he's having a hard time. So he tied the rope to his hand. He says, I'm going to tie this here because I don't want to lose them geese. But now he's trying real hard. He couldn't hold his breath any longer. And then all of a sudden he had to stand up. And as he stood up, he made a big splash in the water. And as he did so, he startled all those geese. And they didn't know what to do. They're looking around. What's going on? What's going on? They're all in a panic, eh? And then the middle goose, he decides, I'm not sticking around here. I'm taking off. So he starts flapping his wings. Woof, woof, woof. And he took off. And all the other ones, they decided to follow him. Just like anybody else would, right? When you see somebody running and there's a panic, you take off with them. So that middle goose, he took off in the air, and the other ones took off as well. And as they were flying, they formed a V shape, a V formation. And so they were way up in the air, and then all of a sudden, Nanabijou looked at his wrist, and he saw that rope tied to him, and he said, oh no. So the geese took off with such a might and force that they took Nanabijou up in the air with him. Nanabijou was panicking himself. He's wondering, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to live on Mother Earth, not in the sky. So the geese, they just kept flapping their wings and they took off, in that V formation. And then Nanabijou looked further and further away from Mother Earth, and he's panicking himself, and he says, I gotta let this go. So he unties himself, and as he falls, he looks down and he sees a soft place to land in the swamp. Boof! He lands right there. And he's so grateful. And then now, that's why we know today why the geese, they fly in that V formation. Is because of Nanabijou. Nanabijou, the trickster. And then every spring they would sing a song. I don't remember the song though. All I know, there was a song sung about this, so that when we go on geese hunting, we acknowledge that. We acknowledge that Nanabijou as well. But now that's why today why those geese fly in that V formation. But Nanabijou, he also learned a lesson. He learned a lesson himself. And I'm going to leave that to you guys. I'm pretty sure you figured it out already. But there was a lesson there for Nanabijou to learn as well. So that's your story for today. One of our legends about Nanabijou and the geese. And I hope you enjoyed that story. I have 2 or 3 more stories that I know of. And maybe next weekend, if I get to go out in the bush again to make bush tea and enjoy a snack, if it's not too cold, or if the weather holds up, I'll do that. So stay tuned, I guess, if you will. If not, hope you enjoyed this story anyway. And remember, winter time, the season, is a time of rest. So take your time, take time for yourself and your family, and gather around together, as you usually do anyway, maybe. But this is a reminder for us, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I mean that that story and this video. And be good for watching. Be good for taking time out of your day to listen to this story. And as the sun goes down, I'm going to finish my bush tea here and head home. So, Wamapi, go up, man. Me, which for listening to me, and we'll see you on the next one. All right. Remember, tea tastes better outdoors.